What's up, work advisors? You are listening to Work Advice for Me on the Hopecast Network. My name is Brad. I'm your host who brings it with the most. Most of the time I bring it. I bring it all the time. Come on now. I love this show. I love meeting new people. And today you are in for quite the hacking treat. We have Lora McLaughlin Peterson, or as I like to phrase her or call her, Lora MacGyver Peterson, because she's a hacker. You may know her as LORAfied on the old IG, but she is a hacker, not in the computer sense, but in the life sense that can relate to all of us. Lora is so relatable. This chat, I gotta say, was pretty bonkers. It was fun. We had a blast. I say we like I'm from Paris, but no, I had so much fun. She was a blast. She is. I'm telling you guys. I keep talking, and we're not getting to the chat because it's pretty amazing. But before we get to Lora, I do want to remind you guys, hit the like button and subscribe to Work Advice for Me. We have a lot of cool things happening on this channel. We have a new show, The Everyday Runner, hosted by Aaron Mayer, April 17th. We want you guys to listen. It's going to be right here in the Work Advice feed. You're going to get the treats. Is that not amazing? You get the treats, and it's going to be a blast. But we also want you to leave reviews. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, drop us a review. We want to hear what you think about the show. Also, follow us on Instagram. Tell your friends to follow us. Work Advice for Me. You're going to get all the new shows. We've got new content that's going to be dropping this year. 2024 is our year, and we're jacked about it here at Hopecast. But Work Advice for Me is what we're talking about now. So we want you guys to really get what you're downloading. And if you have a question, hey, workadviceforme@gmail.com. I will answer it. And getting to questions, I have one now. And this one is from Ellen in Seattle. Okay, I have been to Seattle. I think have we had a Seattle person email her? I think I got listeners in Seattle, so I like that. Ellen writes, Brad, I love your show. Thank you, Ellen. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you love our show. If you could play any character in an opera, or musical, opera, I like how she put or musical because she knows I don't like. She said, I loved the Amelia Milo episode. Thank you. Amelia is great. What character would you want to play? Okay. I got to say, I want to be in Greece. Yeah, I do. I got bills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. Is that what is it bills or girls? Because I got to say, I've got one girl, and that's my wife, Kristen. She's amazing. She does so much for me. So, but I do have bills, and I do feel like they multiply. When you have kids, your bills multiply. You guys with kids know what I'm talking about. Your bills seem to get bigger. So I would play that part because you get to wear the 1950s gear. You're in Greece. You're singing. You got Olivia Newton-John. She's twirling. I think she's dead now, though. I think she passed away. But anyway, today you're going to be at work going, I got bills, they're multiplying, and I'm losing control. I'll tell you what I'm losing control on. I cannot wait to get to this chat. So with all that said, put down anything you're doing right now because you don't want to miss LORAfied.
Me too.
Okay, Lora, I gotta be honest, I have been excited for this pod since November. And we are matching today, which you astutely brought up when I turned the video on. I like that. And it's like we're on a matching date right now. Blue and green. Yeah.
It's a match.com, Brad. It's a match.com. If we were both single and on apps.
Yeah. My wife would not like
swiping.
That I'm on a date with Lora right now. But I'll tell her it's okay. I still love her. I still love my wife.
Well, tell her I'm all about the
Lora,
more than. Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
Yo, no, you froze up. You're all about the what?
No, I've always told Scooter, I go, you know what? I need a wife. I just want to be completely candid about it. I walk around the house most days and I'm like, I could really use a wife. I mean, this is just too much to handle, right? When the day is overwhelming. So tell your wife it's the more the merrier. Because I mean, if we could divvy up the dishes and the chores and the driving, really it's the wife you need for the driving of the kids. Let's just be candid about it, right? You need a side hustle driver for the kids, another wife.
Okay, I like that. I would like to get to the point, Laura, where I don't have to drive, where
Yeah.
I could just ride, and somebody be like, "I'm driving you to work." I'd be like, "Thank you." I don't want to. People ride with me, Laura. They feel like their life is in danger. I don't know. I think I drive good. My wife disputes me on that, but I do think having a husband. If you need a wife, having a husband would be cool because you could share clothes. See, that's what I would like.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to grab the shirt and then say, let's go play some golf. You know,
Yes.
the intimacy part. No. I don't believe in that.
No, of course. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Let's be honest. I've been married a long time, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
Scooter and I've been together, a couple decades. So
how is
like
that possible? You're only 30, right?
You're so sweet. It's good Botox and filler. I'm just going to be candid with you. It's a lot of lasers. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. I'm not one of those people who tells you God loves me more. It's like, no. This is serious time spent in town in Beverly Hills with some really good doctors that are good with needles. But yeah, what?
I was going to say, when I saw you, my first thought was God loves you more than me because I have wrinkles and you don't. I was like, she's got to be 25. She's 25.
I can get you the plan, Brad. I think you look great. I wouldn't touch a thing, but I'm just saying, I've always been very candid with my followers when they ask. I'm like, girl, it is lasers, it is Botox. No, I don't really have any filler, but I'm not opposed to it. It's like, I feel like whatever you want to do to make yourself feel good, it's like, if you do it, great. If you don't, great. But what really bothers me, probably because we live where we live, is when the people walk around and act like, I just look like this because I drink I drink the smart water and I get a lot of sleep. If I hear one more person say it's water and sleep, I think I'm going to lose it. It's like, no, it isn't, girl. I know who you're going to. Yeah.
But Laura, I get sleep every night. I go to bed 9:30, 10. My family makes fun of me. I still have the crow's feet. I still get sleep.
Right.
I'm not on 3 hours of sleep.
And you're well hydrated, right? So then there is my theory. It's like God doesn't just love them more, right? It's like we're doing all the things. So yeah, I'm always candid about what it takes. I'm 54. I've got 3 kids. I've been at this a long time. But Scooter and I have been married a very long time, and as you know, at some point, it isn't just about like, is he sexy? It's like, dude, do you feel like grilling tonight? Because I could really use the help. It's like sexy becomes a different definition, right? So, the chick porn changes as you get older. Like if he's doing dishes, if he's literally, I'm being serious. If he's folding clothes, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just like, I love you more than I ever have.
Okay, so when I say I do that stuff, do you do this to Scooter? When I say that I fold clothes, my wife goes, "No, you don't." Like I always get that, no, you don't. I think she tells me she wants me to be good, but not as good as her. That's the rule.
Well, that's job security. That's security. That's right.
I don't want her job.
That's job security.
Nate Bargatze says it perfectly, Laura. I'm a backup QB. I throw some reps. In the game, it's good every now and then, but we need my wife there. He needs you there to do the work. And you're right. Early on in your marriage, man, the sex was great. Everything was good. But after 14, I haven't been married as long as you. I'm going to be 45 this year. After 14 years, the sex is great. But, like this morning, I took one of the kids to the airport. They're going to New York. Got up at 4:15 and fed the dog, did the dishes, got my other son's stuff ready. She texted me, "Thanks for all you did this morning." That is where it's at. That's what I love right there.
I mean,
my wife is amazing.
That's real love. Honestly, it is. Now, I will say this though, Brad, and I have to, tell on Scooter a little bit. He does things, but he does them to where they're not quite the way I want them done. He calls this, and I call it as well, strategic incompetency.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
Because he's like, for years and years, he would do things just so poorly so that I would never ask him again. But the older you get, the more you just don't care. You just don't care. I'm like, you know what, buddy, that's fine. Put the Tupperware on the bottom shelf in the dishwasher. I'm okay with it. I'm going to hope for the best. Right? It's like at one point you're like, you had more energy. Now I'm like, you know what? I'll take all hands on deck. All hands on deck.
My wife still doesn't like how I fold clothes, Laura. She doesn't like my folding of the clothes. I'll be like, I'll fold the laundry. No, I got it. And I'm like, okay, you're a martyr. You're a martyr in this right now. You know I would help you. But, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful, right? I mean...
It does not. It does not. But I will say I do like your wife's style. I would be friends with your wife. I get her. I get her.
She just got back from Africa, Laura. She was in Africa last week.
How did that go?
It went amazing. She come back and she was like, I want to go back. I want to go back. She was there we were apart for 12 days. Longest we've ever been apart in our marriage.
Oh, wow.
I threw my mistress out like the day she was flying in, moved her out, said, hey.
It was very, very savvy, Brad. Very savvy.
That's a power move. I said, hey, baby, you got to leave. My wife's coming home. No, I had the kids. Evidence. I had the kids by myself for almost 12 days. My in-laws were here because I had to be in Texas. So then when I got back, they left. So I had them for most of the time. And it was great. But she had such a great time doing mission work over there. And it was awesome. I was proud of her. Really proud of her.
That's amazing. Literally doing God's work. That's amazing.
She was doing God's work over there with talking to Muslims. So preaching the word. So, you know, I couldn't do that, but she does that and she does it great. So I'm really proud of her for that. But anyway, enough about bragging about my wife.
You gave her the space to do it, Brad. So you get some brownie points too.
Yeah, I do. Can you make sure she knows that I need some brownie points?
You know what? Give me her cell. I'll text her. I'll shoot her a text after this.
I will. Yeah, let her know she needs to tell me thank you every now and then. I'm just kidding.
Always a good idea.
It is, but she does tell me. She says, Brad, you brag about me a lot on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, because you're the best woman ever. I would never trade my wife for anything in the world. Listeners, I do not have a mistress. Laura, what's your demo like? Who are you? Do you mostly have women followers or do you get a lot of men followers?
Well, I think, you know, if you're looking at the sheer numbers, we're 96% female.
That sounds like work advice. I have so many more women followers than men. So my dad, who listens to every episode, he's like, hey, could you get some dudes on every now and then? And I'm like, yeah, but most of my listeners are women. Yeah. So I want to give them what they like.
Well, we're the ones in the car doing the driving.
True.
That's when we listen to podcasts. I always say we're like, 96% female and then 4% really cool men. Right. The really cool guys have hopped on and I love them. And the other day I was in the grocery store and this young man, probably 30-ish, the age of our oldest, he was like picking out steaks and I was helping him. And I said, I really like this skirt steak better. It's a better deal. It has better marbling. This is the one I always go with. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, oh my gosh. I said, I'm sorry. Some creepy old lady like telling you how to pick out steaks. So sorry. I'm being a mom right now. Sorry. And as he goes to walk away, he's like, thanks so much. And he said, by the way, I love your reels.
Boom. How about that?
So I do think we have a lot of men that are watching, but maybe they're just like, she is a little too chick-like to follow. Right. Which mm-hmm. I'm trying to change that because I do think the material is applicable to everyone. Everyone loves to eat. Everyone loves to save money. And who doesn't like a hack? Right. I mean, everyone wants to get things done better, faster, and more efficiently. So, it's just about spreading the word. But at the moment, we've got a lot of great guys.
I like that you put me in the 4% of cool people because I follow you. So I'm cool. I get to tell everybody that Laura thinks I'm cool.
The cool guys are on board.
I'm in the cool guy club. And mm-hmm. who doesn't like a good hack? I love someone who can hack. Hack into banks. No, I'm kidding. That would be great.
That's a different sort. That's a different. We could go down that road. But at the moment, I think we're sticking with home and life, Brad. But thank you. Always. Tips are always welcome. If anyone has suggestions or want to toss some ideas my way, I can try to figure it out for you. Call me later. That'll be offline.
I have an idea for you, Laura. I've been really thinking about it. I love to pitch ideas. When I bring a guest on, I really want to pitch ideas to them because it's fun. Okay, I love your brand, LORAfied. It has such a great ring to it.
You're so
I'm,
sweet.
I'm thinking, what if me and you went into business and we created LoraFries? Oh, the best fry, not the In-N-Out Blandos, right? We don't want those. We're bringing LoraFries to your house in a bag. Mom's fries on the go. Boom, right there. LoraFries. Okay,
I
hold on.
love it. I love it.
Second idea, nobody likes to fire anybody, right? I don't want to fire anybody. So what if we created LoraFired and it was a video of you that you record kind of like Cameo and you record it and you fire people for me.
Well, kind of like American Greetings does. You get the Donny Osmond singing and he sings your name, or Martin Short.
Yes.
Somebody sent me Martin Short last week and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, happy birthday, Lora. They just tape that part. We could do a whole thing on it would be such a sad topic. What would I be doing? Running through Trader Joe's with a shopping cart, firing people? I mean,
Yes.
just tell me your concept. Tell me your concept.
So I feel like this is how it would go. My wife's like, I gotta fire my wife, right? Let's say she works for me. I've got a canner from the podcast network. So then I submit you an email and go, hey, she's not cutting the biscuits at work anymore. She does this. I need you to can her for me. I can't do it. And then I Venmo you $50 or whatever the going rate is for a fire job.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, Kristen, come here. I got a video. Check this out. I hit play and you're like, hey, Kristen, I'm Lora and you're LoraFired. and then you go there and then you walk away.
Yeah,
I walk away.
Very clever. It's very clever. So I'm giving you an A+ for creativity. We're the happy channel though, Brad. I'm the happy channel. So I think you know what? I like the pitch of the fries. So if this was Shark Tank, I'm going with the fries.
Thank you. At least you like something I pitch.
Yeah, but I love the other, but I'm the happy channel. And I just, you know what? That kind of scares me a little bit. I would be scared to.
I do think you'd get a lot of grief on the Instagrams. You'd get a lot of disgruntled people going, "How could you take my boss's money to fire me?" And then you'd be like, "Hey, $20 is $20."
But I do feel like there's an outlet. Like I bet you could set up like a celebrity site for that, and you could go in and pick out whatever celebrity you want, hire them to do that, because you can hire that now, right? There's a site you can go, or you can get them to wish you. Oh, you're so funny. I am not a celebrity. You're so sweet.
You should be. Hold on a second, Laura. Hold on.
So cute.
You should be on the Cameo. I want you on the Cameo because there's so many people. Laura, listen to me. Hold on. Listen. My friend B and me and her do breaking news of Brad and B every other week when work advice isn't on. Yeah. And we play a game called the Cameo game on there, where I pull up people and she tries to guess how much they charge. And I'm telling you, Laura, you are way more popular than 80% of those people on there.
Brad, that is so nice of you. You know what? I need an agent. So you know what? We might have a different avenue for you than podcasts.
Let me be your agent. I love podcasts, and this is my outlet. But I will say you should be on the Cameo. You got it. You're all these women would pay to have you break fun happy birthdays to them. You're right.
And I would now we're talking. I can sing a mean happy birthday off key. So.
See?
And if I could come up with a Jesse's Girl happy birthday version, now we're talking, Brad. Because you know how much I love Rick. You know how much I love Rick.
I got some detractors that think I don't study up, but I do. And I have studied up on you. I've had plenty of time. And I know you like Rick Springfield, who is the singer of Jesse's Girl. And I dropped one of your quotes a minute ago. I hope you caught it. Doesn't have to be perfect, be beautiful. Your favorite quote. And you like red velvet, which I like. And cream cheese icing is manna from heaven. It's the best.
Why are we wasting time with buttercream? I mean, I still make it because the family likes it. I don't even know why we're wasting our time. Cream cheese frosting is so superior on every cake. White cake, chocolate cake, red velvet cake. I mean, right?
What about whipped cream icing? I think that's like the dog poop. I don't like. You like it?
Well, I do like it because the buttercream when I was a kid was always so sweet, and so that I would always take my fork and go and take it off. So back before cream cheese frosting was really in vogue, the only backup was the whipped cream, the lighter. Because I guess as a kid I wasn't a frosting person. I'm not sure what that's about, but
What?
I know. So I was a cake person. I was the inside. Yeah, cream cheese frosting. I could eat it with a spoon. Yeah,
You would have been
just
my
eat it out of the
favorite
can.
person to hang out with because I like the icing. You could have given me your
Yep,
icing, and then
we're
I would
well
just.
matched. Like
We
our
are.
shirts, Brad. We are
We're
well
well.
matched.
We're
Yeah,
well matched. You know, I love icing. My waistline loved it, Laura, and I have quit eating sweets.
yeah.
I was eating Debbie's every night. I've quit eating them. I've lost over 30 pounds.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's not hard. That's not easy to do. That's hard to do.
I don't work out though. I don't work out.
Wow, that's amazing.
I
Isn't that
just don't
amazing?
eat like I used to eat. So I'm
Yeah.
down to like 165, and I love it.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's so great. Oh
I'm.
my God, don't you feel good?
Well, I feel good because people inspire me. I want to not be fat. I want to
Yeah,
live and see my kids grow up. That's what I
yeah,
want. I don't want to
yeah,
be eating Little Debbie's on the weekends all the time. My wife was like, "Why are you eating Little Debbie's?" And I'm like, "Well, I like Little Debbie's. They're great."
yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
Laura, enough about me. What was it like for you as a kid? Were you hacking as a kid, or I can just see you being vibrant and having fun as a kid. Please tell me I'm right.
Well, so I'm the baby of 9.
Holy cow! Wait a minute. You have 8 brothers and sisters.
I do. It was a his, mine, and ours situation.
Oh,
So
okay.
my mom and dad each had 4 kids, ended up getting married, and then I'm the only one they had together. But it was the Brady Bunch. It was literally the Brady Bunch. It would be like Carol and Mike on the Brady Bunch having a baby. That's
Oh my.
exactly like it was. So I grew up with all these parents. Everyone thought they could boss me around. I had this interesting cross section of parents that had been put through the ringer with all other 8 kids. So there was
Mm-hmm.
nothing I could do or say that would shock them. So that was great. Right. There was nothing I could come home and say. They'd be like, oh yeah, Sherry did that. Yeah, yeah, brother Tim did that. It was like, so that was nice. That was the positive. They really blazed the trail. 8 kids, just put them through everything. The flip side of that was they were exhausted. And I don't blame them, Brad. They were exhausted, right? I mean, here I come and they're like, oh, sweet mother of pearl. So I think watching my mom, we didn't know the word hack back then, right? But that's what she was doing. Back then, making it all happen, pairing the different kids up for the different chores, coming up with this outrageous grocery list. My mom remembers it to this day. She's like, they were just the years where your head was down and you just kept going every day because you just thought, how am I going to make it? She's like, it was 2 gallons of milk. It was 4 loaves of white bread. It was like, because you had to have little systems in place to make it work. So I think growing up, seeing that, some of that left an imprint on me. My mom herself is the baby of 10. So I think she was in a unique position to handle that crazy house, that we had. And then I was in a unique position in the sense that I had a very interesting seat to all of this, right? So I think there's a lot of that. And I'm from Pittsburgh, Kansas. I'm from a college town. So there's not a lot going on there. And there aren't a lot of, and I shouldn't say that. I love Pittsburgh, Kansas. So whoever's listening in Pittsburgh, Kansas, I love you guys. But we don't have, like, the nearest Target is Joplin, Missouri, right? To
How
give you an
far? How
idea.
far
Like,
is that? How far is that?
it's 30 miles, which living in Los Angeles is nothing. But if you are in the Midwest and there's nothing in between the towns but just flat land, it seems like a big hike, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you had to kind of make do with what you had, is what I'm saying. If you couldn't get it at Walmart or the grocery store, it wasn't happening. To this day, my hometown still doesn't have a Trader Joe's, right? So it's like, that in itself makes you creative. Like, what do you have? What do you have laying around? How can we make this happen? We didn't have Amazon. You couldn't just prime a Halloween costume, right? I mean, Brad, remember that? Remember the days where you had to think it out, where a catalog came to your house and you had to circle things in the catalog?
Oh my.
Remember this?
Well,
Our kids would think this sounds like we have imprisoned them if we told them what we had to do. And then you had to pray that it would actually get there in 14 days.
Laura, my son he's 11. He throws in my face constantly. You always want to tell me how bad it was when you were a kid. Blah 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 blah. And but I remember those. I would get the Sears and the JCPenney catalogs. I would
Mm-hmm.
circle what I wanted for Christmas, and I would submit it to my folks. I'd be like, here you go. Choose what you want to choose, right? And yeah, you had to think, what was your best Halloween costume you ever had?
Wow, my mom's an amazing seamstress. So, I mean, I've got a lot to brag about. I've got the Little House on the Prairie recreation.
Oh.
I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I'm an 80s kid. So Laura Ingalls Wilder, Big. This is before, I'm a few semesters ahead of you, Brad.
No. I love Little House on the Prairie. Mary was a smoke show to me. She was so hot when I was a kid. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, right. It was just everything, our whole world. And if you were at the right age at the right time. I was a slot machine one year.
Oh,
I was a stoplight one year, the big yellow box with the green, yellow, and red. So I wore the box around. And we had some goodies. Because again, you had to think through it and you had to make them. You couldn't just go buy these. If you wanted to come up with something, and the other kicker was, Brad, you had to be able to roller skate in it.
Oh, roller skating is fun, right?
Roller skating was everything. So it's like, not only did it have to be creative, you had to be able to skate backwards in it. Skate in the opposite direction.
It's tough.
Skate in the opposite direction. Remember that when they changed the music?
I like the couple skates.
The snowball skates?
I never got anybody to want to skate with me, Laura. I would be too scared to ask. So I would just sit on the side and scope out the ladies. But I would never ask them.
Well, knowing what you know now, though, and Scooter and I talk about this a lot, too. He didn't go to his prom.
I didn't either.
Because he was too scared to ask someone. Now that he's watched our girls grow up, and he's like, if I had known what I know now, meaning that girls are just really hoping anyone, we'll ask them. Everybody wants to go. It's like, so we've learned a big lesson there. We're going to make Jack, he's kid number 3, he's in 8th grade. We've already told him, you're going to ask girls out. You're going to go to dances. You're going to pick her up. You're going to come up with a little, corsage, wrist, doesn't matter, wrist, pin it on, whatever. It's like, you're going to do all the things, because it's like, it's just, I think that we're missing that right now, right? It's like everyone's going in these groups and nobody's, doing, like, I feel really lucky that I grew up in the 80s. I feel like that Pretty in Pink, the Breakfast Club, God, the 40th anniversary of the Breakfast Club just passed a couple of days ago, right? But all of those, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, it's like, those were the good years. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Back to the Future, all-time greatest movie.
Back to the Future.
It's my favorite movie of all time, Laura.
Yes, but it's like, so we are, I feel like our kids somehow, for some reason, given all the technology, they're still missing out on all that stuff, where we had idle time. Remember that, Brad, where we had time to sit around and think? And I think a lot of, back to the hat question, thinking gives you that ability, that free time to think gives you the ability to be creative. It's when you are constantly bombarded by stimuli, just constantly texts and DMs and that you can't get that space to think. And I really think that our generation was lucky. We had that space to think and create and look at it differently. And
well, yeah, Laura, I mean, cut you off, but me and you have, or you and I have a ability to know what it was like before cell phones and internet and post that. And there are so many, I can't watch a movie now. I cannot watch a movie without pulling my phone out to look who that actor was on my phone. I go down the rabbit trail. I'm like, oh, that's the guy from this. But I remember the days when I would sit in my floor as a kid and just watch one of 35 channels. And I was perfectly fine. But
remember when you had to, we learned this a lot with kid number 1, because she kind of always had a cell phone from the teenage years on, would call and be like, hey, I'm at CPK, like she'd be at college. What do I order here? Right? When I was at college, you had to walk down the hall to a payphone with a calling card to try to call your parents. So what you would do instead is sit in that dorm room with your buddies and figure it out on your own. There was brainstorming. Remember that? You would have to sit around and you'd have to, who was that actor, right? You guys would all have to sit there and go, do you remember him? He was from the da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, I think that was really good for us. I really do. I think that was really good for us. And Scooter says a lot. You used to have to be smart. Now you just need a fast internet connection.
That is true. Laura, I had this debate with a math teacher a couple weeks ago. Because when you and I were in school, they would say, you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. And you remember, I'm not a math guy. And I'm like, now we do. Now I can pull my phone out. Scooter's right. I can just, if I got a good data, I'll just pull it up. I can add it up. Boom. Just like that.
Yep. Good internet connection will get you anything. Right.
Yeah.
And Brad, you and I can't resist. Who was that? Oh, let me see. Who was that? Who was that on that movie? It's like, we can't just wait. Right. Because we've now adapted. We've all adapted to this instant, how do we get the information right now? How do we do this right now? And I think life has become so hectic that I think that's why the hacks have become more important, because now we have less and less time.
I will plug my phone in, and I don't put it right beside my bed. So I will plug my phone in, and I'll be watching TV at 9:30, and I'll see something. I'll be, I gotta check it out. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow, but then I can't resist the urge, Laura. I have to get out of my bed, pull it up, look at it, and it's like, yeah, I think we should not always have to be on our phone, because I can't turn my brain off. I feel you're that way too, right? For me, I'm constantly thinking about ideas, anything I can come up with. My wife says your brain never shuts off, and it doesn't. Like, I'm constantly thinking. So when I watch a movie, or I talk to you, I can just turn my brain off and have fun. That's my plan.
Well, you're doing pretty good. I like it.
It's turned off.
If you need to check your text, it's fine too, Brad. It's
okay.
No.
You're not texting me, so I'm good. So you grew up in Kansas. Now you decide. What do you do post? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? When you're thinking about, like, I want to be something. What was that you wanted to be?
My entire life, I knew I was going to be a news reporter. My entire life.
And I was going to say, you were my favorite part of 4 Christmases.
You're so cute. Thank you for making it to the end. Yes, that was fun. That was a very fun, once in a lifetime, random thing that happened. They actually, I guess they had shot that scene with an actress. And in the post-editing part of the film, they realized, wow, that didn't really work the way they wanted it to work. So they wanted a reporter ASAP. I'm not an actor. And so they called, I don't know how they got my number. The director apparently was aware of me, called my agent and requested me, because they're like, we need this to happen right here. I thought I was just going to be like in a scene with a bunch of reporters. I had no idea what I was doing. The script comes in and I have words and I have like my own moment. And I was taken aback. I was like, oh my God, I've never done this before. Like, how's this going to go? And I looked at the script and I was like, I wonder if it's not working because this is not what we'd really say. This is not what I would say if I was covering the first baby of the new year. So just for giggles, Brad, I rewrote it because I write all my own stuff. To this day, I write and edit everything you see. I shoot most of it on my own. I write, edit, do all of it. And I've always been that way as far as the writing. And so I rewrote the script. And I didn't know that wasn't like something you did, right? I didn't know the ins and outs of a movie. So I show up and I went up to the director and I said, hey, so nice to meet you. I just want to run something past you. I go, I know you have me saying this and I'm happy to say it, but you know what? This is what I'd say if I was going live. And he was really sweet. I was like, yeah. I go, it's more immediate. That's what we'd say. And he goes, okay, let's do it. And like, oh my gosh, all right. All of a sudden, I'm just going to treat it like a live shot, say my own words instead of worrying about memorizing and hoping I get the words off just right? Because I'm not an actress. I'm not trained in that. So I was a little scared, like, but once, Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon, they were co-executive producers on this as well. Everyone was like, just do it how you would normally do it. It turned out to be great. One of the most fun moments of my career, really. And it lives on today. And Scooter's like, my God, for the rest of our lives, we're going to have to watch this movie because it's Christmas. And it circles back every Christmas. It's so great. Who knew?
I like the movie. It's a good movie. It gets a lot of hate. What parent would you want to be living with in that movie?
Oh, that's a good question. So here's the funny part. I think when I checked it this Christmas, I think we're the number 7th or 8th most popular Christmas movie of all time.
Seriously? I did see it in the theater.
Big. It was something big, and it's still on the airplanes. I mean, because I think it's just a feel-good Christmas movie, and a lot of people can relate. A lot of folks are struggling, whether you're trying to get to in-laws' houses and your parents' house, or whether your parents are divorced and you're trying to do it. I think we can all relate to that. So I would say, I think one of the funnier houses was, Reese Witherspoon's mom's house, right? At the church. I mean, those ladies were just a hoot, but I mean, they're all just so Sissy Spacek. I mean, my word, John Boyd's house was lovely, right? It's like you wanted to live in John Boyd's house, but boy, it was just, I got to tell you though, whoever did the set casting for the father, help me out.
Robert Duvall's house.
Thank you. The massive talent in that movie was crazy, right? Whoever found Robert Duvall's house, they need to get the set location guy for that needs to get an award. That was a home run, right?
He's like, I'm not waiting on the satellite guy. Get up there and do it. It's
get
like,
up there and do it. Oh my God. And who doesn't know somebody like that? Who doesn't know a guy like that?
Well, every man, including myself, does not like to wait, right? Impatience is a virtue we all have as men. But a couple things. One, I'm disappointed. I thought I was your agent. You said you called your agent. Where was I at?
No, I don't. Look, that was at the time. Brad, that was years ago.
I already told my wife you hired me as your agent.
That was no. I need one right now. I do, but that was when I was in TV, right? That was, when I was in news. That was my news agent. Did we shoot that 15 years ago? 15, 16 years ago.
What was it? Was it that long? Because I went to the theater and saw it. Oh my gosh.
Yes, 15, 16 years ago. I mean, really, time is flying, right?
You're depressing me now, Laura. I thought we were doing upbeat stuff. Now you're reminding me of years. Okay, second thing, why do you do this on your own? I could come out there and record you doing LORAfied. I mean, I can hold the camera. I can do that. I don't understand. As an agent, I feel like I should help.
Well, I recently hired someone finally, because I'm just now 3 years into this, and finally hired someone because it got to be, and I'm blessed and thrilled. I needed some help, right? We've grown, and I'm just so honored. I love my followers. I love the LORAfied family. Love it when I get to meet people. I love them coming up to me because I really do feel connected to them. And so it just got to the point where it got to be a little bit more work than I could handle on my own. And running through, honestly, if I'm running through Walmart, I kind of need a wingman, right? I mean, you don't want to get kicked out. So it's easier doing that with someone else. I'm not kidding. Like, whether they're standing guard when I'm, digging my phone into the ice cream section, or, I'm burying it in pillows at Home Goods. It's good to have a wingman.
You should do a fort challenge in Walmart where you hide and build a fort behind the TP like they do the YouTubers. Yeah. But Laura, a couple things I like about what you said. First, when I started the podcast, my first interview was Jay Billis. And I'll call it an interview because I was reading questions that I wrote before, okay? And then after a while, I bet after like 4 months, I'm a guy who likes change. I can recognize if something's not what I like it to be. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I gotta change this up, Laura. And now I don't write questions down. I just talk, and I don't call them interviews. I call them we're just hanging out. And I like what you said. You're like this is not how I would talk, and this is not how a reporter would talk. And I was being something I wasn't. I wasn't being true to me. And I think in life, we got to be true to ourselves, right?
Yep. And I hope that you and I are both giving people permission to be, right? Just themselves. It's like, I just decided, and I didn't know what it was to be an influencer. I ended my career as a television news correspondent. And this is so 180 from what news was, especially that network news feel. And so, now that you go on camera, podcast, Instagram, what have you, you have to make a decision, right? What am I going to do here? What am I offering people? What would I like to share with people? And I just decided to be myself. I am a dork. I'm going to be honest, Brad. I'm a dork.
No.
And
wait. You're not dork. You were one of those ladies, if we were in high school, it would not talk to me because you were probably really popular.
You're so funny. No, I've always, I do love everyone. I really do. I'm a people person. I really do love everyone. I hope that everyone, would report back that I've been, nice and kind to them. I will say Scooter just doesn't, he likes to laugh a lot at me. He's like, tell me exactly how that goes when you're running through Trader Joe's. What are people doing? And I go, well, the good news is I'm smiling. So let's start there. If I wasn't smiling, there might be some issue, right? People might be a little worried.
Mm-hmm.
And on one hand, it's Los Angeles. So we do have a lot of folks that are doing wacky stuff, whether they're the YouTubers, as you mentioned before, and building the forts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of the story is just kind of like, she's harmless. Let her go. She's running with the shopping cart and smiling. But that's really me. I am very dorky. I'm very dorky, and just in my real life. And so I just thought, let me just put it out there and see what happens. And honestly, people have been great. They're like, you know what, girl, you just be you. And so, Brad, you're being you. And I love it when I meet people being themselves. That's what I love.
Well, you got to be genuine. If people meet me, I want them to always know that I am who I am. I have no filter. This is who I'm going to be. I'm going to be genuine. That's just me. Second, did you ever get, when you first started your brand, did you ever get like, gosh, this is tough. Like I'm not hitting yet. Like I want to hit, because I feel like that like almost every day until I get to chat with you. Then you motivate me.
You're so cute, Brad. I will say the first year I didn't know what I was doing. LORAfied was born out of, it was COVID days, and our oldest and her friends, the millennials, were struggling to adult, and I would get a lot of calls. How'd you make that smoothie? How'd you do this? How do I do that? How do I sew on a button? And so they started calling me LORAfied. They started calling me that a long time ago. We'd make the Christmas gingerbread houses, and it would be regular house, regular house, regular house. And then I would do the Barbie dream house, right? And they would be like, oh, okay, so this one's been LORAfied. And I'm like, guys, it's really easy. I don't possess any special skills, which is true. I don't possess any special like tools to do this. We all have the same tools. This is just how it came out. And I thought, they're like, you need to be doing this. So that first year, you do everything you think you're supposed to do. And I'm sure you do this, or you did this when you started your podcast. In your head, you've got your questions written out, things that you think you have to do, right? I was doing the same. Brad, I was doing the same. I was doing the Target fashion haul, buddy. Nobody's coming to me for fashion advice. Nobody's here for the fashion. So I was doing stuff I didn't even know what I was doing. Beauty, fashion, all that stuff that I have no business doing. The internet's flooded with experts on that. So I was like, what do I know? I know how to raise kids. Well, you can ask them. No, but it's like, I'm sure trying. Let me put it that way. The raising kids. I've got kids, dogs, a traveling husband. I'm spinning plates. I'm a really good, plate spinner. How do I do this and translate that? So that first year was trying everything. Just, grew a little bit, just a little bit. Then by year 2, I was like, you know what? Why don't I just cut out all the stuff? In your case, you're like, why don't I stop with the must ask questions, right? So I did that. That second year, I'm like, what is it that I'm really good at? I love cooking. I love cleaning. Just home stuff, kind of home ec, if you will. How do we make home ec just a little hipper and more fun? How do we do the stuff that you and I, your wife, we all have to do every day? How do we get it done a little faster? And then that is kind of when things started taking off. When I realized that's who I am, that's who I should just be. Why, instead of editing out the clips where I look like a dork, instead of editing the clips out where I've dropped something at the store and I've embarrassed myself, I'm just adding it. That's just me. And so when I started doing that, it's like, that's when it started working. But, it wouldn't work for everyone if that isn't your natural state, right? So whatever your natural state is, you have to do that.
Mine's easy. Mine is connecting and making people feel like we've been friends for years. That's my goal in life. When I talk to you, Laura, I want people to feel like me and you have been friends for the last 20 years.
I love that. I love it. And I feel a little bit of that as well. It's like, I want people to know I actually care about them, that I'm talking to them. And there's a lot of, behind the scenes, I'm sure, as it is on with your team of, and I say team, that's hilarious. My assistant China and I will talk, and we'll be like, will this move the needle? I'm asking people to give me 40 seconds to a minute of their life. I want you to walk away from one of my reels saying, wow, that was worth my time. That was worth my time. I learned something new there, or I forgot about that, or I didn't know you could do it that way, or oh my gosh, is Nothing Bundt Cake really giving away free cakes on your birthday? It's like, so I want people to learn something new, and that's the reporter in me. And I think just since my whole life I prepared to be a reporter, that's something unique I can bring. I'm a good researcher. I love offering information, and it's kind of like I want to do it in a fun way, so that at the end of the reel you walk away and go, okay, all right, I see how she folded that fitted sheet. I can do that.
I'm terrible at folding sheets.
Well, I'll send you that reel.
You need to, yeah. How come you don't have a podcast? Well, you're perfect. Like, why are you not spending 30 minutes a week talking to your fans?
You're so cute.
Because I would listen. I would download it right now.
Brad, that's so sweet. And I would love to do one in the future. I really would, working on a couple other little things right now. But, I'm working 40 to 60 hours a week because none of this happens in a vacuum, right? I think people are most shocked by that. And I do think it's super sweet when viewers will DM and say, hey girl, what's your real job? Like you always say you got to run to work. What's your real job? And I think that's because people don't, and I think that's a compliment, to be quite honest, that they don't feel that I'm not presenting this as it's work, right? Because it is a big blend to me. I love getting on stories and talking to my followers. I talk to them all day long. I don't know if you've checked out any of my stories, Brad, but like I'll call you in the morning, no makeup on, looking like I've been ridden hard and put away wet. I mean, and then we'll go about the day, right? And so it's like, I love that. And so it's like, but all of that takes time, right, to connect with people. And I don't think people understand that social media, that podcasts, that these are full-time jobs, because not only are you presenting what they're seeing or listening to, you have to have time to, once again, go back and think about it. You have to think about it. You have to create it. You can't just wake up in the morning. Some mornings I'll wake up and something will come to me, or in the shower, and I'll be like, oh my word, I am running to Costco today to see how many carbs are in that baked chicken. The baked chicken thingy. What was that called? What's that everybody? Or chicken bake? The chicken bake.
Chicken bake.
So,
okay.
Right. So
a lot of carbs. A lot of carbs.
A lot of carbs. Just did a reel on that. Or get the hot dog and toss the bun. At any rate, I think people are surprised at how much time and thought it takes. Like you have your podcast on, people don't realize for that 1 hour what the back time is on that, right? That it's a full-time job.
Yeah, my wife would say that, even though I have a full-time job. She would say, well, you put a lot of hours into there, but it's my outlet. I think we all need outlets. And when you ever want to do a podcast, let me know.
Okay, thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. I would love it. It's on the list, buddy. It's on the list.
When you're ready, I'll produce your pod. I don't have to be on it. I'll just produce it.
Well, as my mom has always said, and you'll enjoy this. I didn't mean to step on you, by the way. My mom has always said, Lora has never stopped talking. I'm just glad she's finally getting paid for it.
Yeah. I don't get paid to talk, but I like talking. I love stories. Lora, I love hearing someone's story and knowing that you are successful because you made it on your own. Nobody gave it to you. And when you were reporting in the news, were you in Los Angeles? Were you in the Los Angeles news?
Yep. The vast majority of my career, I was in Los Angeles.
Wow.
I actually started back home as an intern at KOAM in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Yeah. And then when I got... Yeah, I did all the things. Had to be in the Michigan market for 10 months. It's like I did all the things, but the vast majority was Los Angeles. Yep.
What's the craziest story you ever covered?
Well, I hit Los Angeles at a very fascinating time, from OJ to Michael Jackson. I mean, the news in Los Angeles, I'm going to say it is the best news market in the country. Even to this day, it is the best news market in the country if you are a news person, because once you mix the celebrities in with the real news, and the city itself is just so massive. I've just been blessed to cover all of it, front row seat to absolutely all of it. The Oscars, everything from the Oscars and the Grammys to, the death and destruction, the mudslides, the fires. I mean, it's an interesting market, and it's so much fun. So I missed the storytelling, and that's why I had to do something with LORAfied. I love telling stories. I love showing people how to do stuff. I did not miss the sad news we'd cover, right? I didn't miss that part of it. That was very hard. That was very, very difficult. there's things you can't unsee, right? And I've seen stuff that I often wonder if reporters and photographers, the photographers as well, if there shouldn't be some sort of a therapy outlet, because there's just stuff we see and then we're never really given the tools, or journalism school doesn't send you off with the tools on how to handle that, right? You would see
Yeah.
stuff you don't want to see, and you'd be there first on scene sometimes. And so, even before the police or the coroner or something, it's just, it was tough. So I was like, that's why I made a very firm decision. We were doing happy news. This is the happy channel. You know where to go. You know where to go to get all the other daily stuff if you want to see what's happening in the world. But we're going to keep it happy here because people need outlets. People need to know where they can go and have a safe space to not hear that noise because it's so hard to get away from.
I don't watch the news. I know that sounds terrible, but I'm like you.
I
don't
get
want.
it.
It's the news. The local news. Who watches that really anymore? Because you can just pull your phone up and
Right.
pull it up on your
Right.
phone. I don't need to sit and watch, Tom Brokaw or anybody like that talk about stuff when I can just. I don't think Tom Brokaw's still in the news. He's got to be about 90, right? I don't know.
Yeah, he does show up on some specials from time to time now, right?
Does he?
I think he does, and he's written some books. Yeah, but but your point is well taken. I think that we've all become our own producers. If you want to see the surfing squirrel, you're going to pick up your phone and you're going to be like, I just want to watch the surfing squirrel they had in the D block. I don't want to watch the A block, which is where, as I mentioned, that death and destruction lives. You want to get all the way down to that fun stuff. Who won the hot dog eating contest? Where is that dog that can ski down a hill? Do you know what I mean? It's like you want to get to the fun stuff. We've all become our own producers. If you want weather, you've got a weather app. If you need to know how your local high school team did, probably on an app. Or you can just look on your local TV station's website, who won the boys basketball game, right? You don't have to sit and watch stuff that's not applicable to you or not happening in your neighborhood, because the news is very good at making you think that the no good Nick on the loose is next door. In reality, he's never coming anywhere near you, right?
100% agree with you on that. That's now how many hot dogs could you eat in a hot dog eating competition?
That's a great question. Not many. I eat it. What's the time frame? How much time do we have?
1 minute. You got 2 minutes to crush the glizzies, as the kids call them.
I know. I bet I don't do well on that. I bet I don't. Because I'm such a mom. I worry about people choking. I can't watch those contests.
That's what you think about, Laura?
Yes, I do. Yes, I'm such a mom. I'm like, oh my God, is he going to choke? It scares me. It does.
My thing is, and I bring this up on a lot of podcasts, I would wonder how your stomach's going to feel. Like, I would feel like you're going to be destroying the toilet in about, 2 hours?
Or you'd throw up. How many do you think you
take
in 2 minutes?
The worst dump, or you're going to throw up? One of the two.
Yeah, either way. Either end.
Sorry,
right?
you're very ladylike, and I just said.
No, but honestly, as a mom, you worry about that too. But how many do you think you could eat, Brad? What do you think?
Me? I have a two dog rule. Like I've taught myself, if I go more than 2, it's gluttony at that point. But if I was in a competition, I could probably crush 5. Maybe if it was.
Yeah.
It would be tough. Pizza, I could probably eat a large pizza if I had to.
Okay.
But I wouldn't want to. I could probably eat a large pizza. I love eating food, Laura, which brings me to your food. You like not TJ Maxx.
Trader Joe's.
Not Aldi. Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's. Yeah. Well, I like all grocery stores. Let me just say that.
Do you have Aldi? Do you have Aldi out there?
We do. Oh yeah, we've got them all out here.
We shop at Aldi. My family loves Aldi, and you can save. I think it's cheaper than Trader Joe's. Am I wrong on that?
They're owned by the same company.
They are. Yes. Okay, but it's the cheaper version,
Aldi's
right?
bought Trader Joe's. Well, I think it's just a little. I think it's different. I think they're just a little farther for me, or I would certainly go, and I certainly do go to Aldi's. I do for sure. Their presentation is just different. So I think they've cut corners. I think they've got a lot of the same products, just in different packaging. And then they've got more name brands that have been, I'm not sure how they're getting them, than Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's has everything repackaged pretty much in their Trader Joe's, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got their Trader Jose's. They've got their Trader Giuseppe. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're $2 Chuck, right?
Yes, where Aldi's leaves it in their, like, you'll see Cheerios at Aldi, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right? You
Yeah.
might be able to see. So I like them both a lot. I do. And I'm an equal opportunity grocery store shopper. I don't have one store where I can get everything I need. And I really do. Doesn't that drive you crazy that you've got to go to so many? But they've done it. They've done it to us. Yeah, they've done it to us.
My wife's like, okay, we're going grocery shopping. We're going to Aldi. We get done. Okay, now we got to go to Walmart and get the other stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, Costco or Sam's Club? Which one do you like?
I have cards to both for different reasons.
Okay, so somebody described this to me earlier. I've been to both. I'm a member of Sam's. We don't have a Costco within 30 minutes of my house, so that's why.
Okay.
They said Sam's is the Walmart of discount clubs. Costco is the Target of discount clubs. And BJ's is the Dollar General or the Big Lots of discount clubs. Is that a fair comparison?
I'd say that's a pretty baseline good comparison. I think a lot of people don't realize that Sam's Club is Walmart, right? A lot of people don't realize that the founder of Walmart was Sam Walton. So that's where the name Sam's comes in, right?
Okay.
I think you'd be surprised at how many people don't know that.
Wow.
And so once they realize, oh, this is Walmart's Costco, then it all makes sense. You're like, oh, I get it. Like, I can tell you this, and this is such a chick thing, Brad, such a chick thing. It is easier lighting-wise to shoot in Costco. It is easier lighting-wise to shoot in Target. I'm just going to tell you right now, you just look better in Costco. You just look better in Target. So if you're looking for a date, if we have any people listening that are single, those would be the two to hang out with. We all look better there. The Walmart and Sam's Club, it's more bare bones. So bottom line deals, Sam's Club and Walmart, without question. If you want to feel like you're having more of an experience when you're shopping, that's where your Costco and your Target come in. They are different. And then Target pricing lately has been just really much higher, right? All of a sudden, it seems a lot higher. I'm hearing that. And I agree. I don't actually get out and shop a lot. I'm just doing a lot of grocery shopping. But Target in general, things seem a little higher there these days. So I think you're starting to see, I'm not sure what their target is anymore, no pun intended, on their audience. I see a lot of business going to Walmart from my followers because I poll them all the time. I'm constantly polling them, like either in stories or in the family chat, like, where are you shopping? Why are you shopping there? The split is 50-50 on Sam's Club and Costco. I think, like you said, it comes down to where you live. Where do you live? Are you closer to one? And a lot of that matters. If you've got a Sam's Club down the street, you'll go there. I can tell you the Sam's Club candy section is far superior.
Really?
Far superior. And if you've got a baby at home, Sam's Club. Do you know what I mean? There are things that they just each do better. If you're in that baby toddler area of your life, Sam's Club is where you need to be putting your money, right? It's just different. They have different things they're really good at.
I read an article online or saw a headline. I didn't read it. It says Target and Walmart are considering a membership plan to use their self-checkouts. Look this up, Laura. Which I think would be a disaster. Disaster. Then you got to hire more people, right?
Yeah, no, I can't. Well, I know that they just started changing. You had to have, it's a 10-item limit now.
Well, I like that. I like that. That's a good change.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does. Here's the thing. It's and I'm sure when this first came out, and I have no research behind this. This is just me thinking alone about all this stuff, because I do spend a ton of time in all these stores, because that's where I live, right? That's where my followers are. I'm there working. I'm not there so much shopping. I'm there looking at prices, comparing stuff, doing boots on the ground research, if you will. And I wondered if they decided that self-checkout, knowing people would get away with some items, if they thought, well, still cheaper than hiring someone. But I think that was a bad decision. I think people still like seeing people check them out. I think people still like that interpersonal, right? That relationship. And I've never been able to check myself out without the light going off.
Oh, at Walmart, it's the worst.
And you, right? And you stand there and it's going, wah, wah, and everyone's looking at you. And I'm like, yeah, no, sister, I don't know. I went to college for journalism. I don't know. I am not equipped to do this.
It's
so
the worst.
I just kind of feel like, I feel like I'm okay if the self-checkout, on one hand, it makes you buy less, right? Studies have shown you do buy less if you check yourself out.
Oh,
So the positive is you stick to your list. And when you are self-editing and you're like, oh, did I really put that jumbo size of gummy bears in here? I don't probably need that. So you might put it back. If someone else is doing it for you, you're not going to get a second chance to look that item over, and you're probably going to buy it. So there's but I miss the personal. I like people. I'm a people person. I love talking to the people at the register. I love it. Love it.
Do you know them? Do you go to the same stores, right? You go to the same.
Yep.
Do you know the management there? They like, hey, Laura, what's happening when you come in?
Well, so I really try not to call attention, and so being in Los Angeles, we will spread the shooting around.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Because we are definitely more on people's radar now, right? And if I go to the Costco that I go to, my home store, if you will, they'll be, there goes the Costco lady, and I love it. It just makes my day. I mean, again, we're the happy channel. I'm not there for doom and gloom, so nobody has to worry. But you're just a little bit like, okay, you don't want him to kick you out. But I think, luckily, we've never been kicked out. We've been asked a lot of questions, right? We've been asked a lot of questions. We do leave things nicer than we found them. So you will see me neatening up the shelves at CVS, or I'll tidy stuff up at Target. Because, I want them to be, okay with the fact that we shop there. Right. And it is, on the other hand, it's free publicity for them, right?
Well, yeah, I would put a Costco vest on you and have you interact with
Little
customers that said LORAfied.
Name tag.
Yeah.
LORAfied.
But then you could
LORAfied shops here.
Yeah, you could
How about that, Brad? That's an idea. LORAfied shops here.
Yeah.
Honestly, now we're talking. God, I gotta get
write this down. I'm telling you.
Why am I not taking notes right now?
It,
Brad, this has been fantastic.
Put a vest on.
You are
let's get one off Amazon. You can buy it, I'm sure.
You are single, like people do for their dogs.
Yeah. You walk up, you got the LoraFied Costco Walmart vest, and you're like, hey, try my LoraFries made by Laura and Brad. See, it could be a commercial. But no, seriously, you could put the vest on, you're promoting them, and you're doing it in a wholesome, fun way. You're not, tarnishing their image or anything like that. I don't know why you can't do it. I'm serious. I want to see a reel like that.
Oh my God. Well, it's just like the the dogs on the airplanes now.
Oh God, don't even get me started.
Every dog is a, what do they call them? What are the vests on the dogs called? Not security animal. What's it called?
Emotional support vest?
Guide dog.
They
put the guide dog vest. You can get them on Amazon, right? It's like everyone's got one on their dogs. It's like I could get my own on Amazon. I could get my own little.
You could get your own Costco uniform. You show up, say LoraFied, boom, you're there. You're like, I tried this today. Costco rocks. You need to do this. Mm-hmm. This is a hack, and you're the MacGyver of hacking Costco.
Yes.
I like that.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
LoraFied,
oh my God,
the
that's
MacGyver.
So cute.
Yeah, you need to really think about that. Yeah.
And my last name is McLaughlin Peterson, so it's almost close to MacGyver. So we could just change it to MacGyver. No one would know.
Gosh, ask Scooter if he's down with that. Laura McGyver Peterson.
Peterson. So instead of McLaughlin, I could just go with MacGyver. No one would notice.
Why don't you just go Laura McGyver? See, there. Just tell Scooter it's over.
Now we're talking.
It's over.
Now we're talking.
Just the name, not the marriage.
So fun.
Laura McGyver. I want to see that. You could do all.
Yep.
Laura, you could do a MacGyver reel where you have the theme song of MacGyver, and you kind of come in and you're like, I'm gonna show you how to hack this. And you hack it for 45 seconds.
We need to figure out a way to let them I can bring in those little ropes that let me down, that lower me down.
I was thinking the ropes.
Would that be great?
The ropes.
Would that be great?
You come down.
Would that be great?
You got your MacGyver brown, you got the Costco shirt.
From the rafters at Costco. Just come down with the music.
Laura,
right?
I want this. I've got to see this now to make my life complete. I've got to see you, MacGyver. I want to see Laura McGyver is LoraFied. I love how your nickname came from sarcasm. That is, we're at LoraFied now, and you're like, actually, I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to I'm gonna roll with this.
Yep, the girls did it. The girls named it. The girls named it because it was just, they were like, because you're just taking everyday ordinary stuff and just making it a little different. That's really, really what we do here. There's nothing, like I mentioned before, there's no magic, no special tools. If you've got to go spend a lot of money on it, it's not a hack. Let me just be completely honest. If you can't do it with what you've already got going on, it's not a hack, right?
A hack I recently discovered, Laura, and you probably know this hack, is I hate shucking corn. I love putting my corn on my Traeger and smoking it, but I don't like shucking it. So I put it in the microwave, and it worked.
You cut off the end. Yeah. Cut off the end and squeeze it.
Just like that. Mind blown.
It's mind blowing. Mind blowing. And there's not a silk left.
And the silks are all. I used to do it the old way, where and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, we get silk everywhere." Yeah,
I know, it's so fun to squeeze it out. It's like,
it is. What's your favorite food? What do you go? What's your go-to?
My favorite food?
Yeah, like what is your favorite thing to cook and to make? Like it just fills your cup to feed Scooter.
Well, that's a great question because his answer would be different than mine. But, I'm a big cheeseburger person.
Oh, gosh, I love a good cheeseburger.
I love cheeseburgers probably because I grew up in the restaurant business. And my dad was famous, all his restaurants for his cheeseburgers. And so I think that feels like home. And I just love them. I love them. I mean,
what restaurants did he run? Like he run burger joints?
No, yeah, well, they were called the White Grills. So he had a chain of restaurants called the White Grills because when he was a teenager, he grew up working as a teenager in the White Castles.
Okay.
In Kansas.
Okay, the little burgers.
And so then the little ones. And so then he went out on his own and started the White Grills. And so I grew up in the restaurant business, which would make a lot of sense when you look back at all my cooking stuff now. So I have that in my blood. So I love to cook. Love it.
And you also love ice cream like me, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I love it.
But I got a bone to pick with you, Laura. You like the cone. Now the cone the cone is good, but the cone puts you
sugar cones.
It puts you on a time limit. You got to be licking.
It does.
You can't take a break. Like for me, I'll stop eating for a second and I'm talking.
Yeah.
Like I'm just going like this, My cup's there.
Yeah.
If I got the cone, I'm constantly trying to catch the ice cream as it's melting. It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. It's like a sport.
It is.
Right? The cone turns it into a sport. The cup keeps it more, more of a gentrified. You're just more elegant, right?
The cup is the bumpers in bowling, akin to the bumper bowling. You're making it too easy. You got to go without the bumpers. You get the cone, but then when my wife knows if I cone up, I'm not driving. She's got to drive. She drives with a cone.
Well, there's a lot of factors. You feel like that owl in the Tootsie Roll commercial where you're like, okay, how many licks, and you're off to the races. Literally, your point is so valid. And so what they should probably do is just instead of handing us a cone, we should probably get it in the cup like you do, and then get like some sort of large wafer that we could then dip.
Boom. Dip the cone into the cup. There's a LORAfied hack right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody needs to come up and make, maybe they give you a bag of cone chips. And then you end up dipping it like a dip.
Laura, I just thought of this. What if you could set a booth up at Costco? You know how you got the samples, right? You set the booth up. We'll trick it out. It'll say LORAfied on it. And you show people the ice cream hack. Hey, you want this? Boom. Yeah. Just like that. Have a microwave. You throw some corn in there. You show me how to shuck it. And
they could just tell me what product they need to push that day, and I'll stand there with the hack.
Yeah, you hack it. And why wouldn't they want that? They don't even have to pay you.
Right?
You just come in there and do it.
Why wouldn't they want that?
You're working for free. You didn't even know it. Tell Scooter you got a free job now at Costco.
Oh my God.
8 to 5 on Saturday.
He would love that. He would be like, brother, because I mean, this is it takes a lot of time. And so it's just one of those where it's like, he'd be like, oh, brother, oh my God, what are we doing now for free? Right.
Well, yeah, especially since you live in California, which has to be the most expensive state in the world to live in at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
no, it's crazy.
Texas is the new California, right? That's where everybody's moving to.
Well, all of our friends are moving to Texas or Tennessee.
Yeah. Texas, Florida.
It's like we have a lot of folks moving all those places. And our oldest kid moved to Nashville last year. She moved to Tennessee.
That's right next door. I'm in North Carolina, so I'm right in there.
Yeah.
I'll need to know your shopping strategy, Laura, because when I'm out there, I got to make sure I run into you at the said Costco or Walmart.
Right?
I'll need to figure this out. I'll coordinate it. I'll be like, oh, Laura,
Okay.
I didn't even know you were here. I'll pretend like I wasn't stalking you. And then you can say, oh, Brad, nice to meet you. And then we can.
That's so cute.
Yeah, I'll just
Brad,
bump into
Brad,
you.
we will make a date, and I will buy you whatever you want from the Costco or Sam's Club food court. We'll just line that puppy up, and I'm going to let you have free reign to order whatever you want at either one of the food courts.
Oh, at the food court. Oh, I was going to throw in about 15 iPads, a couple MacBooks, and I was going to really make Scooter hurt a little bit on this payment. No, I'll just eat the hot dog and the smoothie, minus the bun. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
And we could split one of their big cookies. That's pretty darn good.
Those things are huge at Costco, right?
They're ridiculous. Yeah, you need it feeds 4. It's the size of the crumble, but it's huge. It feeds 4 people.
Laura,
easy.
I will tell you this. I had Lee Orleans, who was on Hell's Kitchen this season, come on the pod. We talked. She sent me a recipe for chicken wings. I can send you this recipe that she got from another contestant. I did the chicken wings on Super Bowl night. I loved them. It was a nice rub. It was great. I was bragging about them. Well, my in-laws came. They have a membership to Costco. We drove into Charlotte, went to Costco. He said, try these chicken wings, Laura. They were bagged chicken wings, already flavored. I got to say, they might have been the best chicken wings I've ever eaten in my life from Costco. They beat what Lee Orleans gave me. But I will still send you this recipe that you can try making if y'all are chicken wing lovers.
We are chicken wing lovers. In fact, I've got a great, I don't want to give it away, but you'll want to watch Thursday.
I'm going to watch Thursday. Do you have a smoker? Do you have a smoker?
That's funny you should say that. At the moment, we don't. Scooter's only been talking for about a decade about, he debates all the time between, is it the Traeger? Is it the green egg? He's literally trying to figure out which one to get. So we smoke on the Weber. You know, the Weber that you just use from literally $50 from, Home Depot. He turns that into a smoker.
Okay, let me tell you. Will you pass this along?
So what one do you have?
Pass this along to Scooter. The green egg is great, but I have a Traeger. My wife said for Father's Day years ago, you can get a smoker. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. She didn't realize they were like $700. So I went and got me a Traeger. I would not want any. Once I got the Traeger, Laura, I got rid of my grill. I'm like, I don't even need the grill anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I got rid of my grill, have no grill in my house. I smoke brisket, barbecue, wings, corn, asparagus, broccoli. I'll put anything on that smoker and it will boss it out. I'm telling you, tell Scooter the Traeger's where he needs to go.
My brother has a Traeger and would say the same thing. So, Brad, what is the best thing you do on the Traeger?
Best thing I do, my family loves my chicken quarters. That's my money. That's the money food. Now, what I do with this, Laura, if people listening, Laura, please back me up on this. You're the pro. I'm not. You cannot just say I'm going to make chicken quarters and just throw them out there. You have to prepare. So I brine my chicken quarters over a day ahead with some beer. You got to have beer. Beer's the best brine ever. Beer, sugar, brown sugar, salt, some pepper in there, some red pepper, and let it just sit for 24 hours. When you do that, your chicken quarters will be so juicy and tender, you will not want to ever eat out again.
Well, it sounds amazing. And you're working with the best part of the chicken, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, the leg and
honestly, I'm all about it. Yeah,
underrated part. People want the breast.
Yeah, underrated.
They're like, I just want the breast. I'm like, no, I like some dark meat.
No, you don't. Yeah, I do too. And the other part that people forget about is the wishbone.
Oh, well, yeah. I think every part, but I like every part of the chicken minus the breast. I'm not a breast dude.
Yeah, but the breast, well, it's so dry, right? It's so dry. I was making chicken tenders last night, and they're great. I did a pesto chicken thing last night with some chicken tenders, and it was fine. But, you got to really babysit those because you don't want them to dry. You don't want them to dry out. If you're switching to a leg, a thigh, anything else, I'm so with you. You've got a little bit of wiggle room.
You do. It's
right?
juicy.
It holds it. My God, I'm coming over
pork
for that.
chops.
I don't know when the next time is, but I'm coming over.
You need to. My wife,
and pork chops.
They request it. My family requests the chicken quarters as their meal. They love it. And I'll smoke my baked potatoes out there too. Now, those are the best baked potatoes you'll ever eat in your life. But the pork chop, I have learned, I've got my own rub now that I make. I put it on there. I let the pork chop marinate or brine for a couple hours. Throw it on there, the thick one with the bone, for about an hour and 20 minutes, and you get it to about 150, 160. Then throw it on the flat top, and I fry it. Let it sear a little bit.
Yep.
Best pork chop you ever eat in your life. I'm telling you, the Traeger is the easy bake oven for smokers.
Brad, I feel like you've got another podcast here, buddy. I feel like we could have Smoking with Brad.
Oh, I like that. We could smoke. I'm not
smoke break with Brad. I can see the ads now because you can see you there with the little cig.
Oh my gosh!
See you there just with the fake cigarette, the fake one. Like
Did you ever smoke?
Smoking with Brad.
Did you ever smoke?
No, God no.
In my house,
no, I don't even drink.
I don't even
drink.
My house, we call them heaters.
Oh, heaters? Is that what you call
them?
We're
gonna smoke a heater.
My dad smoked because, of course, I was born in 1970, so everybody's dad smoked, right? So we'd be barreling down the highway, and he'd have the windows rolled up, smoking his Camel. It's a miracle we're all here. No seat belts. He was smoking Camels, barreling down the road with no speed limit in Kansas at the time. Honestly, how are we all here?
Well, Laura, in the 80s, my whole family smoked. It was like, I didn't know people that didn't smoke. Like, everybody had a smoker. Today, if we've got smokers listening, and Laura, I'm sure you have smokers that follow you, please do not take offense to this, but you're kind of crazy for smoking at this point, because we know what it can do to you health-wise. So when I see...
Yeah. Well, it ended up, it was at the very end, it was what got my dad, right?
Yeah.
So it's real. When you lose somebody to it, you're like, wow. And it was just never my thing. I was lucky because I think it was right at that cusp where it just wasn't in vogue. But my older sisters, I had a whole bunch of my older sisters smoked. So yeah, it was just a thing. Remember that? Yeah. Everybody's parents. It wasn't even a question, right?
How many packs of heaters do you think you secondhand smoke as a kid? I probably secondhand smoked so many cigarettes growing up.
Yes. I can't believe it. The ashtrays. Remember, the ashtrays were everywhere.
You go in McDonald's.
I look back on that.
Right there.
Yes. The airplane. Remember the airplane?
I don't know if I remember
the smokers on
I know
the
you
airplane,
could.
And then they would have the note. My favorite part was smoking and non-smoking on the airplane.
Laura,
like the difference between the rows wasn't going to come over. That was just my favorite. The smoking and non-smoking section on the airplane.
Well, as we round this out, you bring up airplanes, and I bring this up. When we talk about airplanes, I have to drop this because it's a bragging tool on my end. You will not see this as a bragging tool, Laura. You will probably be like, I will not even want anybody to listen to this podcast. Laura, I have a 27-year streak of never going number 2 on an airplane. And I'm proud of that.
Oh, wow.
That's my streak. I stand by that. That's my... I was like, it's my thing, Laura.
Well, that would... I would imagine that's really not the place you'd want to anyway.
Oh, my gosh.
We travel all the time. And so, I'm with you. We're always on the kids. Like, before we get in the car to go to the airport,
go to the bathroom.
Has everyone really gone to the bathroom? Not just because it's like, it's that emphasis on really.
Yeah, you're trying to say it, but without saying it, right? Yeah,
right. Because they're teens, right?
Like,
so you
Mom,
need them
I don't
to
want to talk about that.
So you're like, and you're like, no, you don't understand. There is no stopping between here and the airport. Then we all know what that would be like on an airplane, which is
the airplane bathroom. I say this all the time on the pod. It is a porta potty in the air. It's disgusting.
It is.
And
you just want to avoid it as much as possible.
That's why I wear a diaper when I fly, Laura. That's the move.
Yeah, the astronaut one, Brad.
Remember that astronaut that left her husband and was on the run, and she had the
diapers
oh my
on.
Gosh. My wife's gonna be like, "Where did Brad go?" And I'm gonna be running across to California with my diaper on to meet Laura. That's
diaper on. You're
diaper
so
on.
Cute. Oh my gosh.
Diaper intact.
Oh my gosh.
I had I actually had an episode. Amelia Milo came on. She is Christine in Phantom of the Opera, and I pitched to her the opera diaper. Laura, we could promote that on LORAfied, the opera diaper.
Well, well, that is hilarious. Well, Scooter is a million miler. He's gotten he's one of those guys that they've come up to on the plane, just like on the movie up in the what was that, George Clooney?
Up in the air. He's Clooney.
So they've come on the plane and they've been like, Mr. Peterson, thank you so much for being and he's like, it just means I'm never home. but thank you.
Yeah.
He's like, so he's never home and he's always in the air. So he would be the one to ask about that.
What's his job?
In fact, we're headed somewhere.
What's his job?
Scooter's a spy.
Okay, good.
That's what
Let's leave it at that. That makes me happy.
He's a
Just
spy.
call him MacGyver's wife.
His real job is right. His real job is so not sexy. I'm going to be honest that it came to be a joke. That I was like, you know what, honey, people glaze over when you tell them what you do. So we need to come up with something sexier at cocktail party. Let's go with spy. And so he's a little bit of a spy.
Glaze over Scooter's job. They're like,
they glaze over. Literally, he said he was on a date. He was telling the story yesterday. He was on a date before he met me back in the Mesozoic era, telling a woman what he did. And she goes, wow, that sounds so boring. And he's like, she's not wrong. She's not wrong, right? She's not wrong. So I said, we got to come up with something sexier. I said, you're kind of like a spy. You go all these crazy places in the world. We're just going to call it a spy. And a lot of people have asked if he's a pilot. And I was like, that would even be sexier. Yes. Scooter's an international pilot. So we have a lot of fun with
Laura,
it.
if I was a pilot, I'd wear the pilot jacket all the time. And if I was...
Don't they just look sharp?
Yeah.
Don't they look sharp?
If I was a doctor, I'd wear my doctor coat out.
Yeah.
I once saw...
Well, Rick's... Yeah.
I saw a doctor wearing the doctor coat at the airport.
He commanded, right? Attention. I mean, but you do. You're just like, wow, respect and all of it, right? I mean, Rick Springfield, I got to be telling you, a lot of us, I'm going to speak for a lot of fans right now, I think we'd be okay if he came out as Dr. Noah Drake and sang a couple songs from General Hospital.
Yeah, you could, yep.
Rick, if you're listening, I'm tossing it out there, buddy.
I hope he's listening.
Get out the Dr. Noah Drake.
Look,
I hope he
let me throw one hack at you that my buddy pitched to me a while back. When you go to a hotel, if you register as a doctor in your name, they give you a better room.
Interesting.
He said that.
What happens when there's an emergency and they call you to come save someone's life?
That's when you say, I'm a doctor therapist.
That's right. It's like that's right. Oh my gosh, I'm a counselor. Because it's like, nothing against them, but I'm just saying, how would you, because I bet they flag where the doctors are. I'm not joking. Don't you think?
I do.
In case there's an emergency.
And we don't condone lying here on Work Advice, so please don't lie.
Right.
That's a lie.
Right.
But I have wanted, I've told my wife that would be nice to put Dr. Brad on there. And
you wanted to try it.
But it would be my luck, Laura. Me and you, we're sitting in the continental breakfast area.
Sitting by the pool?
Yeah. Or sitting
by the pool with
and a kid gets choked. And they're like, do we have a doctor here? And the lady's like,
Dr. Brad. Paging Dr. Brad. Dr. Brad's right there.
And then I'm like, yeah, Laura, I don't think I can do this. And they're like, we need you to do mouth to mouth. I'm like, yeah, nah, that's not happening. But
that's the point. It's like, I bet that's why they're flagging him. So tell your buddy, just be ready. Be ready to do the whole thing, right? So, it's like,
so we can't see a hack. We can't see you do a reel on this hack. I'm
not I'm still from Kansas.
Yeah.
We gotta be, good little honest people, right?
Well, Laura, I tell you, thank you for spending some time with me. This has been amazing. You are one of my all-time faves. You're always welcome to come back. What's next for you?
Oh, Brad, we've actually got a couple of fun things that are coming up that I can't talk about just yet, that we just kind of cemented in the past couple of weeks. So a lot of fun. And I'd love to come back anytime. I just think you're darling. I love you. I think you're great.
Anytime you want to promote anything, you have a free pass to come on. It doesn't have to be an hour. You can say, I need 10 minutes. I want to sell this to somebody.
I'll be back then. I'll be back.
I will be your personal promotion tool, even though I don't know how many people you're reaching on my end, but hey.
You're already my agent, so that's the good news. We've got a good start.
I like that I'm your agent and I have a date with you. Unfortunately, I'm married, so I'm going to tell my wife. We're going to figure something out here.
We're both married, so it'll just be like an afternoon situation, right? It'll be total. Actually, they can come. I say we bring it. Let's double date.
Next time I'm in California, I want to meet you. Next time I'm in California,
I would love it.
I want to make this happen. You are now officially my hack friend, and I've not had a hack friend before, but you are now my hack friend.
And I love the title.
Yeah.
Please come visit.
I'll put you in my phone as hack friend.
I like it. MacGyver. Honestly, I'll take it. I like it. MacGyver.
Yes. And
LORAfied MacGyver.
And please text my wife and tell her she's got a great husband.
I will. You send
I'm
me
going
your
to send you her number when I hang up.
Okay. Yep. I love
Lora,
it. All right, Brad, this has been so much fun.
Thank you. I appreciate you. This is amazing. Thank you. And yeah, I'll be following your page, and everybody please follow. It's amazing. You're gonna love it. It's amazing.
Thanks so much. Love you, Brad.
See ya, Lora. Bye now. Okay. How many of you listening right now are going to go buy corn today to stick it in the microwave because you want to be like Brad? Probably none of you, but you all want to be like LORAfied, right? I had so much fun talking to her. I can't wait for her to come back on the show. She has a lot of energy, and I will say she is a woman of her word. She did message my wife after the chat to say, your husband is amazing. Okay, she didn't say that. But I looked at my wife and I said, you are my forever girl, and you are amazing. So go tell the person you love right now, when you stop listening, that you're going to start hacking, and you're going to let them know how much they mean to you. Thank you, Hubcast, for putting this podcast together. Love this network. Thank you for listening to Work Advice for Me. Remember, the Everyday Runner starts April 17th. You're going to want to listen. Erin Mayer is incredible. She's a great asset to the network. Also, make sure you like and subscribe on Instagram. And Instagram, please subscribe. Like. Can you subscribe on Instagram? Like on Instagram, Work Advice for Me. Subscribe on iTunes and Spotify. Leave us a review and tell us how much you liked LORAfied. Tell your friends about this show, because that's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to get even more listeners, is when you tell your friends that you really like this show. Or you can email me at workadviceforme@gmail.com, and you can say, Brad, you suck. Please don't do that. I would probably not be happy. I would read that next time. So if you want to make the show, email me, I suck. But anyway, I got to go tell my wife I love her. So I'm going to go ahead and catch you on the flip side. My name is Brad, and this is Work Advice for Me, and I will see you and be in your ears next time.